You're running against several other contenders for this position. Why should voters choose you?
I'd say for the same reason I'm running for this office. I decided to run because I believe that America is in a better desire or a dire need for better representation of the people. Our current politicians are too secluded in Washington and have kind of forgotten what life outside of politics is like. I don't see leadership qualities nor devotion to the Constitution from either of my opponents who are running for the office. I see empty promise makers who are just ready to step in line with their own party's agenda. The main difference between my opponents and me is they are politicians. You know, America started to decline on their watch. I blame it on partisan politics. The lack of term limits for Congress has led to a lot of legislative stagnation and all the power in the hands of a few unjust men.
Okay. List what you believe are the three most significant issues facing Missouri right now. What would you do to address these issues, and what would the financial and non-financial costs of your actions be?
Limiting outlandish government spending would be one, government taxing, and then our declining freedoms and liberties. Let's talk a little bit about declining freedoms and liberties. I believe the government exists to protect the rights of individuals, not to bully Americans to behave. I think that criminal laws should be limited to the violation of rights of others through force and fraud, and individuals should voluntarily assume risk to themselves. You know, as their senator, I would actually fight to repeal all crimes, creating victims without I'd work hard to repeal all laws creating crimes without victims, such as the uses of marijuana for recreational or medical purposes. In regards to the taxation, I believe that all Americans are entitled to keep the fruits of their labor. As your senator, I will actually call for the repeal of the income tax. I think putting our money back in our pockets and letting the American people stimulate the economy. Both the Republicans and the Democrats have shown a voracious appetite for spending. I don't think they have really strayed from the original purpose of the federal government to protect your life, liberty, and property. Providing basic government services such as police, courts, and fire should cost a fraction of what we now pay in taxes.
Okay. If all politics are local, in what ways would your work in Washington affect the people back in Missouri?
I'm the people's champion. I go to Washington, D.C. to fight for their rights. I stand up for their liberty, both economic and personal. When I go there, when I vote on bills or propose legislation, I'll remember the people I represent, not a party or a lobbyist.
Okay. What defines a successful senator to you? Can you provide examples of who you look to for leadership guidance?
I don't see many good examples in our current Congress that I would aspire to follow or be like. I don't see any true leaders there. I do see more inspiration from the Founding Fathers, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, George Washington. Their type of political is the way I think I see more inspiration in that.
Okay. Using spiritual and/or philosophical sources, can you cite a couple passages on life and leadership that have helped shape your core personality and approach to politics?
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I think that's one of the things I'm fighting against. Is a lot of people have a self-limiting belief that they don't think that there's a possibility to make this change, or that third-party candidates can't work. So kind of overcoming those beliefs is one of the hardest things I'm doing. But I also like Thomas Jefferson's quote, "Peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations, entangling alliances with none." And I think that's how our government should handle its foreign affairs.
Great.